We got this?
Yes, we are live. Can everyone hear us okay?
Very good. Hi guys, how's everybody doing? If you could let Paul know if you can hear me and see me all right, that would be super helpful. So we can go ahead and get started here in a second. While we're letting people tune in, I do want to invite you to check out a list of the free mini classes that are coming up. So for those of you who don't regularly follow me, I've been doing 1 to 2 free mini classes per week since the pandemic hit. So I called it the quarantine series, and you can look at all of them in the playlist. But the one coming up, it doesn't say, oh, you fixed it. Look at you, Polly. Polly is so organized, it blows my mind. All right. So
and I move like a phantom.
Wow. Flash. So here we go. Pain is the next one coming up. And we have after that Fighting the Dark, which is the oldest free mini class I ever put up. It was a couple years back. Helps you to understand the 5 different ways you get attacked every time you're ready to level up. New level, new devil. I'm redoing that one. And then we have level jumping, how you cannot level jump in life. This could be an issue that you have. Focusing on things like instant gratification and not level jumping in love. We'll cover everything. We have another one called Compassion Over Passion. Then what to expect in the upcoming year. So we're going to break down horoscopes, every zodiac sign. I will be doing mine. Christina Del Rey, our astrologer here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, will be joining me for that show, doing your astrology. And we'll be talking about what planetary shifts you can expect in 2021 and how to maximize your date book and things like this. All right, then we have another one coming up called Love versus Fear. And then we have the Divine Feminine coming up where I'm bringing on Danny Johnson, spiritual activist. And we've had her on a couple other classes as well. Okay, she's our numerologist here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. And so the next one coming up, though, Pain, is really going to focus on all different kinds of pain that people are struggling with, not only in our society right now where we're dealing with like racial injustice is really coming up to the surface. We are also talking about job loss, financial distress, the pandemic, but then we're really focusing on more mainstream things like suicide, breaking down myths involving that, estrangement even from children, regret over things that maybe you did in the past, drug and alcohol abuse issues. Were you abused? Were you neglected by your parents? Or did you end up in a toxic relationship with a narcissist or a sociopath? There are so many different kinds of pain. And we are going to be looking at what the majority of those are, and then key ways that you can eliminate, alleviate, but to also understand that sometimes we have to carry it, and how to, through alchemy, convert it from negative into positive. All right. So it's going to be a very powerful class. That's going to be Sunday, the 29th, 9 p.m. Eastern here. Can't make it. It'll be published afterward. A lot of people reach out and they're like, where's the class? I thought you were just doing it. Yes, but it takes time in YouTube sometimes to, I don't know, what's it doing during that time?
For the live show, they have to process.
It is a process. Because I do them live. So if it's not like it's not there, it just has to like go through the YouTube system. So sometimes right afterward, people are looking and asking and messaging, and it's like, it won't go up till the next day. I can't control that part. Okay. But keep checking. All right. Paul, you want to come on over here for a quick little announcement?
I do. And it's perfect timing too. Jill said she loves your shirt.
Why, thank you so much, Jill. Funny you should bring it up. So we are bringing back, I've been selling merch for years, but with the pandemic and everything, you know, we are bringing back some new stuff. So we've got, all right, you can message Polly to order. We've got hoodies. We've got the regular sweatshirts. We're bringing in more of the winter hats. We've got shirts for your dog, for your cat. They're hilarious. We are also bringing in candles. We're bringing back the mugs, water bottles. And for the ladies and gentlemen who like a little, pick me up, I'm doing these almost like makeup bags, but it's full of spiritual products. And then afterward, you can use it for anything, your tarot cards, your makeup, and that'll have our logo on there. Did we forget anything else?
Well, like Kiss, but only cooler. If that could be.
Sure.
I mean, the hottest band on the planet says 1974. No, but those asking questions, please include names, people, or places. Those help me out. I'll be behind the computer, so,
Very good. We also have as a thank you, so you guys keep posting your questions here. Include names of whoever you're referring to, please. It helps me to get onto your neighbor faster. I do try to answer all of these in 3 minutes or less. We, as a thank you so much, we appreciate all of your subscriptions. So for those of you who haven't, please do so. If everybody could also go on right now and hit that like button, all right, greatly appreciated. But we hit 2,000 this past week. We're almost at 3, approaching quickly. So we're doing a special show for you guys, taking your questions about Paul, myself, us, the cats, whatever, spiritual, curious, otherwise. And so you can put those in the comments below, and we'll be publishing that soon too. How do you want them to do that?
Yeah, if you have the question that you want for the 2000 show, just tag me in it. So you do @Ask Ivy, and it'll put a little block around my name so I know it's for me, and I'll put that in a separate category. And not so it won't get mixed up with tonight's questions.
Okay, very fun. We appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you
so much. All right, Polly, we ready to get into it?
We are.
All right. So what you guys have caught here tonight is my weekly Ask Ivy show, where I take your personal questions. They could be psychic, mediumistic, empathic, just curiosities, lost objects, paranormal, spiritual development, literally anything. And we, again, do appreciate you including names. So you're asking about a boyfriend, you're asking about a deceased grandmother, you're asking about your pet. You do want to put that information in there, and we will get to as many as we can. So I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Arawak, and I run a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where, or should it go this way maybe, I don't know, but where we train people in psychic mediumship, development, Reiki, tarot, astrology, numerology, you name it, we do it. So check it out, ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. We do have the next psychic mediumship course starting February 16th, and registration just opened up for that. Okay, so we hope to have you. All right, are we ready to get into it?
We are. There's some good questions coming in here.
Fabulous.
Loving it. Fast and furious. You guys are great. I really appreciate that. Also, did you talk about donations?
Donations, you can, if you want to donate to us, we do greatly appreciate it. There's a button there. And if you want to join as a member to get behind the scenes action and extras, as well as like spirit messages directly to you, you can hit that join button.
Very awesome. Nailed it. Okay, so we have one. I'm going to start with this fun one here.
Okay.
From UHF, who asks, is there an afterlife after the afterlife? I was told by one medium channeling a relative that said there was a next destination after the afterlife.
Well, there is no afterlife. That's probably the confusion. Like, this is it. And that is it. And it's all the same thing. So it's kind of like Jerry Garcia, like it's all a dream. And like this mentality that this isn't real entirely, that it's hard to tell almost the difference between a dream state when you're asleep and this. Why does that feel so real? And then this feels like such a lie. But when we're awake, why does that feel like a lie? And this is real. It's sort of that same identical confusion, really. And that is that these aren't places and these aren't different times or spaces. It's all a continuum. And so we tap into the past, the present, the future, and life only, right? Newton's law, it does not die. Energy only transforms into something else. So is there an afterlife after the afterlife? Absolutely. Because literally energy doesn't die. It's more like, the way I think of it, is it a progression? There was a great movie on this that came out in the early 90s with Meryl Streep and that comedian with the big curly bushy hair. And it was called, was it Judgment City or something? I don't remember, but
Oh, Judging Your Life.
Judging Your Life.
Yes.
I think everybody needs to watch that. I knew as a kid that was super accurate, and after everything I've learned in the years of being of service and mediumship, oh my God, that's accurate. It's like you just sort of afterward, after you die, like evaluate things, and then we figure, what did you finish? What did you not finish? What work still needs to be done? What lessons need to be learned? And then you work on that. And then when you're done with that part of the process, you go on to more and more and more. So yeah. And no, it's all the same thing. It's all one big dream.
Fun.
Yeah.
We have one from...
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the
Fun.
show, everybody. See you next
Thanks,
week.
Paul.
All right, we have one from Ilana.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel like I had a weird connection with a boy from school? He was my first crush, and I never seem to forget him. His name was Austin.
Yeah, so we often see that we come across our first soulmate, someone that we have past life connection with, or we would say like a karmic contract with. We often find that happens at a really young age, which is sort of that Romeo and Juliet situation, right? It's kind of unfortunate and devastating, and it can actually haunt you lifelong. And this is going to happen with every soulmate that you have. We get approximately 5 to 6 different soulmates over the course of our entire lives, and each one has this really intense sort of passionate connection and value about it. But the key is to remember that when it happens and you're very young, it's possible that it's not done. So somebody that you couldn't really get involved with when you were younger, or you dismissed them because you were like, well, there has to be something better than this out there. Yeah, it could come back around later. That's possible. But it's also about using them as a model for what you really felt passionately attracted to. It's like setting a standard. And so if you find that you met a soulmate at a young age, you can use that person to look back throughout your entire life and to say, this is my gold standard of what I must have. I must have that kind of a bond. I must have that level of attraction. I must have that fire, that spark that never dies. Like every time you look at them, there it is again, you know, and that means they could be in their 80s, in their 90s. You could be together forever and still have that. It is also an opportunity for you to look at what that person taught you beyond that standard. And so there could have been some type of an exchange there. No doubt there was. That was similar to the exchange you had in previous lives together. And that often has to do with helping one to heal. It has to do with being a good friend or helping one another to pull through a difficult situation or time. And we always want to look at what was valuable in that lesson or what that person offered you. And you want to appreciate it for what it was, even if you can't necessarily have it again or right now or whatever. Okay? Every soulmate has their own level of importance. Yeah.
Very cool. We have one from Brianna.
Okay.
Says, I keep seeing butterflies everywhere. Do you know who it is?
I feel like you have a grandmother who's trying to come through and let you know that she wants your attention, and that she is also trying through this symbol to let you know that you are the butterfly. So often when we see animal totem, a number pattern, we see feathers or pennies from heaven, or something coming up repeatedly. We want to know who sent it. What does it mean? How do I apply it? And that's a great question to ask, but we don't want to get so specific and narrow it down to just like one person. Yes, your grandmother has been sending these, but so is the universe. And so when we think of our network on the other side that's working for us, you've got guides, you've got angels, you've got your ancestors, and the universe in general, right? Like God is watching over you. They want to support you right now in understanding where you are and where you need to be focused. And that is the butterfly. The butterfly is a period in your life where you are now coming out of your cocoon. You are getting ready to spread your wings. That can be daunting to some, and others are ready to go. You want to focus on the hard work you've done, pat yourself on the back, embrace your newfound prosperity that is earned, okay? It's a karmic earning of prosperity, and you want to spread your wings and keep on going. on to the next level. It's really similar to like a bridge, you know, an old way of life into a new way of life. It's a big, big deal. So congratulations. You've done the hard work.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay. These are coming in very fast. They're all very good, too. I'm loving these. They're all over the place. They're very different.
Good. I like different.
Yeah.
Please.
We have one from Miranda.
Okay.
It says, I've always known I was an empath, but recently I discovered I was also intuitive.
Okay.
I feel like I've always blocked out my psychic side. How do I open up my channels and further my gift?
Okay, so my head's going in a couple different places for you, but I just want to explain this to everyone who's understanding what Miranda is talking about, is that there is a huge misconception out there that empathic ability is just about over-absorbing other people's energy and being really hypersensitive and having disorders like anxiety and depression. And while that's part of it, that's not in total what it is. The other major misconception is that it's a spiritual gift you should be giving and, bankrupting yourself of all your energy by staying open all the time. In more recent years, we're hearing that it's not good to do that. My training is called Empathic Awareness. You go to IvyRiveraEmpathicEducator.com. We are now bringing it into some prison systems. We work with universities and schools, teachers, activists, like literally everyone, parent to child. If you have a child who has this, we can break it down for everybody. But there's one up there that's just called Basic Empathic Awareness Training, and that would be for you. This is where you want to start. And what I teach is that it is neither a disorder nor is it a spiritual gift. It depends on how you're handling it moment to moment and day to day, because it could go either way. It could be a blessing or a curse. And what nobody in the medical or scientific community wants to talk about is that if you are empathic, you are automatically a medium and a psychic. Now, everybody has these abilities on some level, but if you are empathic, especially at the third and the fourth levels, you are really intensely mediumistic and really intensely psychic. And that has its own set of boundaries that need to be recognized and maintained and cleansed. And that's where the gaps come in. So this is why people remain sick and on meds and with these supposed disorders. I'm not here to prescribe or diagnose, but that basic empathic awareness training will break it down for you. You'll be able to figure out what level you're on, 1, 2, 3, or 4 after that class, and then sort of what categories you fit in regards to the psychic and mediumistic stuff as well. And then you could take it from there into some of my other trainings. But that's a good jumping off point. That's a great question. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming, and people don't know what to do with the psychics, the psychic abilities in general. It's, you have to focus on each one of them separately. You can't just, we can't just sort of put a Band-Aid on it and be like, well, I'm empathic, and that's it. These are so different, all three, from each other. The triggers are different. The way you physically react is different. There's a ton there. So, very good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, this one is cool. I think I saw this on TikTok.
Okay.
And I was thinking about it the other day while we were at the cemetery. Can you explain the symbolism between ravens and crows? I feel like I'm being stalked by a raven or a crow. I feel the presence before I see it, and no one believes me.
And who's this?
This is from Abigail.
Abigail. Okay. Abigail, what is the difference between the ravens and the crows? I tend to think of them as not necessarily being any different. In the majority of the messaging system that spirits are going to use, it is sort of like major categories, like birds, or even they can get more vague than that. Winged animals. So we're talking about moths, talking about butterflies, talking about birds of all kinds. We've got the winged animals, and then we've got like woodsy animals, and then we've got like water animals. Like, yes, in the symbology, it's always different, and the messages are always different. But what you need to learn to do to figure out specifically what it's saying to you is to pull back and to go in and ask the symbol itself. So every time you see one, you want to stop, you want to close your eyes and sit for maybe, 2 to 5 minutes and visualize what you just saw, what animal you just saw, and ask the animal itself. This is part of the mediumship training that I do here at the Academy. You have to learn to go inward. So we don't need to run to Google, and we don't need to look at traditional meanings because they're very vague. It's very general, and it is always going to be specified and detailed in depth to your life. And it is often with major instruction being given. So you can't Google that one. You're going to have to go in. As far as, what is the major difference between the two of them? Well, they're both messenger birds. They're blackbirds. And so it doesn't have to just be ravens or crows. You may also see that the smaller, I forget what they're called, but the little black ones with the really super orange beaks, those might also be following you. It's the idea that messages are coming in about choices you need to make or where your focus needs to be at that time. A lot of people tend to think of them as being warning birds, or that someone just died, or that someone is about to die. I have not found that to be a very accurate pattern. Okay, a lot of people also think that because they're black, they're warnings about like your own life. I also have not found that to be an honest pattern, because when we look at the color black in the symbol base that I teach my students here at the Academy, when we look at the color black, we're talking about free will. Okay, it's not a no, it's not a warning, it's not toxic, it's not bad because it's dark. It is about options. When we think of the infinite, everything's dark. So you're in a free will place, you're in a free will space, and you need to maximize your prosperity. They're probably giving you direction. Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
I do think, though, with the ravens, we are looking at more of like communication through guides or ancestors or higher ups. And when we're looking at the crows, we're kind of with our general messaging system. So there are many, many layers to this onion for sure. It's a great question.
Okay. We have one from Jen.
Okay.
It says, I have been seeing flashing white lights lately, somewhat like a camera flash going off. It was catching me off guard at first, but now I notice it and pause, but I don't understand it.
Okay, so a couple different things can be happening. The first thing is angel communication. So I have a class up on the website called Coffee with Your Angels. The angels are mostly the ones connected to cascading white lights, or you may see it like stars or sparkles out of the corner of your eye. Like, they don't all have to be falling. It can also just be like a weird cluster of them. And you're like, when you look and you move your eyes, they disappear. You may also be seeing them at the speed you're going with this. You may also start to see them as the veil is lifted. And so that's when you're waking up or you're falling asleep. And they could even, like, as you come more into focus, go off into the corners of the room and then disappear that way. They are also closely connected to what you see when you close your eyes. So if you were to like just be meditating or laying down or going for a massage or whatever, you close your eyes and then you can more commonly see them, and they might start turning into other colors as well. This is all connected to white light, which I connect to the angel communication. Angels are the healing entities of the universe. They are often confused for aliens because they are light beings, and everything that radiates off of them is white or light or bright. And so they are actually long and tubular and very odd looking. And they do tend to come in times of meditation, relaxation, if you're in trouble, and you need healing or protection, that too, of course, but also if you're sleeping. So you could understand how like a whole room might light up and people think there's a UFO encounter. And when an angel comes in to communicate, you will sort of see what is in their energy field. And so that tends to be these bright lights, cascading lights, and things like this. Because they are the healing entities of the universe, they are coming to protect you or bring healing in some area in a really significant way. And it is worth communicating with them and acknowledging for sure. Okay, so I would highly recommend that class. Start there.
Good. Okay, we have one from Shay.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I have been unemployed since my daughter has been born, ready to get back to work, but don't know what to do or don't want to do what I was previously doing. What do you see for me, and possibly when?
Okay, and are we at halfway after this one? So we'll do another announcement.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So Shay says that she does not want to go back to what she was doing, and she's been out of work for how long?
I don't know. Since her daughter was born.
Okay, and what was the actual question?
What do you see for her and when?
Okay. Well, when people ask about work, what I like to focus on is not just the paycheck, but your life contract. Your life contract is what you signed on to do before you came to Earth. And if you're not abiding within your life contract, you're not working toward that purposeful mission here on Earth, you're wasting your time anyways. And the money will come with a struggle for most people regardless. So let's take a look at what you're really supposed to be doing, okay? So so when I look at your life contract, and you can book a full life contract reading with me anytime, it's up on the website. But this is mostly about organizational skills. So you seem to have two separate things going on. You have a lot of ability to organize, to run things. You're type A. You're able to look at a situation and say, oh, it's dysfunctional. You also seem to have maybe some Virgo tendencies here and there throughout your chart, which allows you to communicate really well, right? Virgo and Gemini's two most intelligent signs of the Zodiac. You're able to also then figure out, almost like the engineer's mind, how systems fit together and critique. Some people would say nitpick. But this is where your money is, and Virgos tend to do very well in running things financially. So we would want to tap into that. When you don't have that, you feel like you're going to pull your hair out. You are also very restless. Not that you need to be mobile with your work all the time, but if you don't have this level of stimulation with your ability to speak, lead, organize, that's where you start to get stir crazy. And so it would appear that you need to incorporate that in with this other ability to communicate and want to help people through that. So you also seem to understand like legal order of things or legalities or organized systems. And I think you want to better systems, and I think you want to help people. So if we were to say that maybe you were to look into additional training, or you were to look into working for companies or nonprofits, or really anywhere where you are offering something more to the public, to society, and you are able to also be creative and lead and organize in that, you would then see that you were really appreciated and you weren't feeling as though you're wasting your time and you're not trapped. Okay, so yeah, I think that if you focus there, we're probably looking at about 6 to 7. That could be weeks. But it could also be months where you're feeling settled in something new. I also would not be surprised if it leads you to evaluate whether you want to go for additional training or education. And that's fine too. Okay. Good.
Yeah. All right. So I want to thank Lauren and for
We're not done. We're going to take
Yes.
more, but we do want to take a quick break and say thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And my thing fell down here. And Jen T said thank you so much for the answer. And Shaylin said it's amazing. I do want to go into social work. Thank you.
I was going to suggest social work. I didn't want to put too much color on it, but I actually really do feel that for you in such a way where if you were to like get whatever it is, a degree or your certification in it, it seems to me that you get started and then within like the first year, it quickly leads you into some other avenues, and you seem to go, it's almost like up the ladder very quickly, so that social work for you isn't feeling like grunt work. It's more purposeful, and you can actually help to reform the system. So I would recommend that. That's awesome. Yeah, there you go. We know what's in our life contract. You know what to do. You got to do it. You have to focus. Mm-hmm. Sorry, who else are we saying thank you to?
Lauren.
Okay. Very good.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for donations. Okay, again, you can donate here. And if you want to join as a member, you can hit that join button. And we are celebrating, I just want to announce this one more time for those who tuned in late. We are celebrating our 2,000 subscriber show by taking your questions about myself personally, Paul, the cats, literally anything that you want to ask. And how did you want them to post those?
If they could tag me in their post with just hit the @ sign and then type Ask Ivy. It should give you an option to just fill that in. That way it's tagged, and I know that question is for the other show and not for tonight.
Very good, and we'll be posting that soon. Yeah. All right, are we ready?
Who's
next?
We have one from Emily.
Okay.
She says, I just came out to my mom about a month ago, and recently I've met a girl named Heidi. She's a Pisces and I'm a Gemini. I know our signs aren't compatible, but is that always true?
No, there's so much to a chart, and I'll tell you, I've taken the astrology class here at the Academy like 4 times. And I started studying astrology when I was like 15. There was a book called The Best Astrology Book Ever that was super popular in the 90s. And if you look at that thing, I mean, it's like reading another language entirely. And the astrologer here at the Academy, Christina Del Rey, who's going to come out and do a New Year's show that we talked about earlier, she's been training for something like 20 years. That's pretty average. You know, astrology is very complex, and we don't ever just want to go by the sun sign. Your sun sign is, and I do not claim to be an astrologer, your sun sign is what you are trying to be. It's not even necessarily what you feel or really who you are. It's sort of like a challenge. If we were to say that you came to Earth to try to become something or finish your life contract, your sun sign would rule over that. Your moon sign is about what triggers your heart, who you fall in love with, how you really feel fulfilled. And Paul can put in the comment here a site that we send everyone to where you can get your free chart done online to figure out your sun, your moon, your rising. And when I do my horoscopes every week, by the way, they're going up tomorrow. I'm late. Okay, so they'll go up tomorrow. But when I post those, I always say, do not forget to check your sun, your moon, and your rising. And so without understanding that system, you're really going to be influenced with something that isn't necessarily true at all. And when we look at the rising sign, we're talking about, it's almost like who you actually are. Okay, so my understanding of the rising sign, also known as the ascending, is about your presentation to the world. So I think she said she's a Gemini, right? Or she's a Pisces.
She is. Oh, the girl asking the question's a Gemini, and the Heidi is a Pisces.
Right. So the way you as a Gemini, the way that you present to the world is not necessarily as a Gemini. People might be like, what? That's what you are? That's your sign? Well, you have 3 signs. And the third, right, the ascending, the rising, is how you actually present to people. So people might think you're a Taurus or, something like that. And it never seems to match. You also need to watch for cusps. And I know a lot of astrologers say, no, there's no such thing as the cusp. We literally can judge this down to the minute. I am cusp, and so is Polly, so is everyone I really connect with. And I find that there's even more there because then you got like a dual personality going on. So, you definitely want to base it more on looking at the whole chart. We'll put Christina's information here if you want to get what's called a synergy chart. I would never get heavily involved in a relationship without that. Congratulations on coming out to your family. But I do think that more importantly, you need to look at the past life, the soulmate contracts, whether or not there are accords and if there are any karmic contracts. And that's something that, we could always book as a reading. This relationship definitely feels like it has power to it. I think it's supposed to happen. Forget the sun signs. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Yeah.
That's right. That's just flavor.
It's flavor. I would say if it's Gemini and Pisces, it's definitely flavor because it's not. It is not a good fit.
Nishia?
Okay.
Is this anxiety or something more that I'm dealing with?
Well, when I go over here with your energy, I feel like you have a couple different things happening. I think that you're needing to do a bit of a cleansing. Check out a free mini class I have up here called Cleansing. If that's not working for you, I have another one called Hauntings, Clearings, and Detachments. And if you need more help, book a paranormal consultation with me. But what I'm feeling is that you're under a little bit of paranormal attack. And what can happen with some people is that you, because of the anxiety or the depression or long-standing issues with negative thought patterns, it can activate the paranormal activity even more so. And you have something called clairaudient ability. Clairaudience is the ability to hear spirits in our mind's eye as though it is our own voice. And this is, while it's an amazing ability to have, It means that you can hear spirits and like do this kind of work. It can also be used against you. And it is often manipulated by negative lower energies in the universe that want to put thoughts in your head to attack you. Why would they do that? Because you're energy, because you're a food source, because we're all energy, we're all food sources. And negative energies in the universe that aren't connected to the light are having to eat all the time. And so they are wearing you down. I do not think that all your thoughts are your own. I do believe that you have clairaudient ability. That's an amazing ability, but you want to control it. Didn't we just do a class on the clairs?
Yes.
I just did a free mini class. This is like spirit right here, right? I just did a free mini class maybe last week or the week before. Find that one on the clairs. Clairaudience. What do I say about it? How do you manage it? And I think that the other issue that you might be having is that you're not really dealing with the empathic overload. So we talked to someone else about this earlier. Empathic awareness training up on my website, IvyRiveraEmpathicEducator.com. That is how to maintain, that is how to block, that is how to cleanse, that is how to allow and release. You have to know these basics, or it's really tough to get anxiety and depression under control. Okay.
Okay. We have one from Kristen.
Okay.
Says, I keep waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. and feel someone or something sleeping next to me in my bed. I can feel it against my back. Who could this be? It is comforting, not scary.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll tell you why I don't like things like this. Because spirit isn't stupid. And if you think of spirit as being, meaning the deceased, as being identical to humans, I'm not saying humans aren't stupid. I'm just saying that when humans want something, they have a way of presenting themselves as though they don't want that thing, or they're not direct, right? It's discreet. And it's very similar to when negative or paranormal energies in the universe will come and latch onto you. They don't come blatantly. It's not like gangbusters. They don't announce themselves. They sneak in. And it's sort of like, here's another great example. Anyone who ever messed with a Ouija board as a kid, you would have noticed that before the Ouija board went haywire and everyone in the house had paranormal problems and illnesses and stuff like this, before that ever happened, you would have been communicating with something that was saying it was your grandmother, or it was positive, it was your friend, it wanted to build a relationship with you. It's all the same. Humans, sadly, often don't evolve beyond that. And negative energies in the universe will use the haunting hour, which is between 3 and 5:30 in the morning. It's also called the witching hour, to come in and communicate. Now, positive spirits from the light will also use that time to communicate or to come in and protect you. I'm not saying that what you're feeling is necessarily negative. I am just a firm believer in personal space and boundaries. And I don't think, especially between 3 and 5:30 in the morning, that any medium should be tolerating spirits coming into their sacred space. That is your time to heal, to sleep, and to rest. You've got to set boundaries. Check out the Hauntings, Clearings, and Detachments class where I break down the haunting hour and how to set those boundaries.
Cool. Okay, we have one from Yelissa. It says,
Okay.
I'm having a relationship issue. His name is Gilbert. Can you tell me if this relationship will work, or should I move on?
You should move on, because he is not willing to talk. He's not willing to not only communicate, but he's not willing to put in the effort to connect his thoughts to his emotions, to his actions. That is self-development. That is like not something that you can fix. And because he hasn't learned how to do that part, and he's getting older, you know, it's time. We also see that he's not able to give you anything. And so even when he knows that you like want something and he would be capable of kind of miming it and giving it, I also feel that he's somewhat manipulative, where he likes you chasing him. So we've kind of got a cat and mouse dynamic going on here that I don't care for. On top of that, I'd walk if I were you. Swiftly. And I'll tell you why. Because he likes to also suck you back in. Like a hoovering technique, you know? Not good. Okay.
Okay, we have one from Sylvia.
Okay.
She says, I would like to know about my father. He passed when I was a little girl. His name was Howard Rodriguez.
Well, he says that you're very much like him. He's very proud of you. He talks about this part of your face also and how you talk like him. And I feel like you have these bright, beautiful eyes, and he just loves that. And he says that you have so much life in you. I feel like you're an entertainer, or like you're entertaining. I feel like you can really command a room, and I would hope you're using this as your part of your paycheck, you know, to speak out for the agenda of what's right, reform, and to make sure that you're letting people know the proper way to do things, because you can literally almost like hypnotize, you know, and get people to follow what you're saying. So that's good. He is making me feel like he watches over you a lot more than you realize. He does like to manipulate. So here are a couple ways he communicates. All right, for those of you who want to better communicate with your deceased loved ones, check out a free mini class I did on here called Death Coaching. Okay, that trains you in the language a bit. So here's how he communicates with you, Sylvia. He likes to manipulate technology. So we're going to see fluctuations in the way your computer systems are working. They may shut down. They may get frozen. The phone may charge or completely drain, and you don't know why. He may shut your phone off. So sometimes it's almost like, you know, you're at 35%, you're at 64%, you're like, I am not in a risk zone. It's not even red yet, and it's gone. It'll just disappear. He flickers the lights, literally anything that he can use. He likes to send you songs. So whether this is like on the radio, wherever it is that you listen to your music, he may be interjecting some songs, and it may seem like they don't really belong there. You want to pay attention to the lyrics on songs you feel he gave you. He's trying to establish also almost like a song base with you. So pay attention to patterns so that you can know, you know, not only when it's him, but what it is what he wants you to focus on, you know, in your life at the time. The messaging system here is pretty intense. He also does astro travel. Now, this is not the most common thing to see, but this is great. When you have this, where you astro travel and you have a loved one in spirit who astro travels, that means we can go to like other dimensions when you're sleeping. Some people also try to do it in meditative states, but that can take a lot of practice. I wouldn't bother. Just allow it to happen naturally when you're asleep. What this means is that you're going to sort of leave the body and you're going to go off with him and spend real time. His mouth may not move. He's going to be communicating through telepathy. And when you wake up, you may have like sleep paralysis or sleep apnea. A lot of people don't care for astral travel. You could also feel like you're falling. You're getting sucked into a tunnel. You're falling off the bed. You know, it's almost like that jolting feeling when you start to doze off. But he uses that to spend time with you. He says that you are incredibly strong and you have a very beautiful heart. And he likes to see you sort of protect that and set proper boundaries with that, okay, with people. Yeah, he'll go on and on and on. That communication is hereditary, okay? So there's so much there, but mostly just know that you kind of are him. It's almost like, I feel like if you want to know who he is, look in the mirror, okay? Beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's fun.
Kristen wants to know, what is the real reason why I'm being laid off from my job? And she's worked at HCA.
Okay, I don't know if you're in healthcare or if you've been debating on getting into the healing arts in any way or taking it to the next level. There seems to be a lot of discussion about how you're just out of whack a little bit. And so that's an okay problem to have. You know, I think that people who are way off their life path, they're not at all living within their life contract, they're going to go through longer periods of feeling lost and drained and hopeless. You, on the other hand, are in a little bit of a timeout. And this can be easily fixed by you focusing on what your original plan was or what you ultimately thought you were supposed to do. Feel free to book a life contract reading with me and we can break it down. I do feel, and this is something I talk about in the life contract readings, you get about 5 to 6 pivotal points throughout your entire life. You are in one. Okay, so when you're at a pivotal point, a lot of us end up in a timeout chair because before you enter into the pivotal year, you have so much opportunity for maximizing and leveling up. Again, you only get 5 to 6 of these over the course of your entire life. The universe takes it very, very seriously. So do you. So does your higher mind. This is what you wanted. But you can't really level up without letting go of what no longer serves. So it's like new level, new devil. Every time the bus stops, somebody's got to get off. In order for one door to open, another door has to shut. You're going through detoxing. Now, this will show up in your Vedic or Western astrology as well as your numerology. In a life contract, when you hit a pivotal year, you have 2 years of detox that lead up to it. So it may not just be this year. Last year may have kind of been, shitty too. And you could see that with relationships, finances. Sometimes we even see the death of people in our circle, but you could also see things like divorce and then your next soulmate coming in. We could see new babies enter. It's basically a huge transition. What does not serve must go. And it gets you ready for the building phase, which will be the next 2 years for you. And I would focus right there on what I said. If you were looking at getting more invested in the healing arts in a way that you knew you were supposed to in the past and just didn't, this is going to be the major focus. And the universe isn't going to let you out of it because you signed on to it. Okay. How many more are we doing?
Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's donating. I see them popping up out of the corner of my eye here. It is much appreciated.
Okay, this one's from Adriana.
Okay.
Said, I would love to know if my grandma has visited me. There was a time of many synchronicities that seemed to be from her. Her name is Elsie Faye.
Yeah. So, your grandmother seems to have sort of followed this classic approach to things where after she passed away, there was like 6 months of intensity and then like 1.5 to 2 years of intensity where the communication was really peaking. Again, check out the death coaching class that I put up here on this. And then it changes and you wonder why and you feel abandoned. And then you kind of wonder, well, is it me? Did I change? Did I grow up? Am I the one who's disconnecting? It's sort of like we're all growing, we're all changing and they can't keep communicating to that extensive degree all the time like that because there is other work to be done. And there is a law in the light. And this is what she's pointing to, almost like a chalkboard. I don't know if you're a teacher or if she just liked to teach, but she shows this to me on a chalkboard, which is cute. And it's like in the light, okay, spirits in the light, they aren't really able to come here so much that they're a distraction or they're enabling or whatever. It's about keeping you strong. It's about you learning to be strong and standing on your own 2 feet. It's about you learning to be able to rely on yourself. Now, they don't abandon us, but, it's sort of like people who tend to always look outside when they have a problem. What do I do? I should talk to people. I should ask the ancestors. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I should get a reading. What do I do? What do I do? She doesn't want to see you end up like that. And you were going through a period of time where there was some change and transition. It was really important that you learn to rely on your own self inside first. And that actually strengthened the bond between you and her because then it made it easier for you to tell, when it was her coming in and how you should sometimes call on them for help. And so it put everything sort of into these very clear-cut categories. And for a while, it was so much interaction because you needed to heal. She was healing. We weren't ready for that change just yet. But now I think it's a more mature interaction. And I think that you've learned a lot, sort of on your own. And I do think that it's important that you start working with the new language of communication here. So check out that death coaching class. She definitely likes to leave you things. This is a big thing for her, leaving objects to let you know when it's sort of like a heads up to pay attention to change that's going on in your life. She's all about the change. She's all about the education. She's all about the chalkboard. She's all about the wisdom and the lessons. And I like that. That's a nice guidance to have. She was no stagnant, victim in life for sure. It's also about numbers. She would prefer that you sit with the number and ask what the numbers are showing you or, Google it or take our numerology class or something, but get educated on numbers. Numbers follow her. They follow you. That means that in a past life together, you guys were numerology people. And, remember that the numbers aren't about her or where she is. It's about where you are, what you should be focusing on, where you are in development. Right now, she's giving you the number 4, and that is about you going through change, again, which is typical, right? She would pick that. That's funny. in one area of your life, maybe affecting a couple other areas, but this change in this one area of your life is being really supported by your ancestors, by your guides, by your angels. So the universe is supporting you in it. You are on track, even if it doesn't feel that you are. Okay, she loves you very much.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This one is from Elaine.
Okay.
Or Elaine.
All right.
Why does it feel like I have a ring on my finger when there is none there? It's the left ring finger, and at one point I could see it.
The left ring finger. So when we talk about the hands, we are talking about symbolically, I call it physical symbology. We're talking about the most powerful points of the body. And when we talk about the left side of the body, we are talking about the receiving side. When we talk of the right, we are talking about your power outside. Now, the fingers all have their own definitions, and I break this down during 2 weeks of Symbol Day for my psychic mediumship students if you ever want to get those classes. But it's going to be a little while. However, okay, let's just break down 2 for now. The middle fingers are about balance in your life. So you don't want to have a ring on just like maybe one. You would want to see it on both. There could be an imbalance if you only see it on one side or the other. So when we look at the ring, we talk about the ring finger?
Yes.
Like this? Or we should talk about the pointer finger?
She said ring.
So this one?
Left ring finger, yeah.
Left ring finger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know why I thought you were talking about the pointer finger. Some people talk of these differently. When we talk about the ring finger, we're talking about marriage. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about leveling up in a relationship, something that maybe is soulmate or something that could be considered to be a long-term commitment. Typically, this is merging of not only the intellect, but also like the day-to-day schedule, the finances, things like this. And it's funny that Spirit told me to mention the middle finger. I didn't know why I was going there at all. But now that makes sense. Because when we see a ring move on to that ring finger, it was in the best case scenario on the middle finger first, which is the friendship finger. So it moves from friendship and bonding appropriately in the right time over to the ring finger. If it's missing that, it can mean that there are elements that are maybe not there in such a concrete way that this could be made into a lasting relationship. It is probably surfacing in regards to a current relationship that you have or desires that you have within your love life. It could also be connected to someone you were talking to at the time. So you kind of got to go back. Who was I talking to when this started to happen? It's very possible you were married in a previous life. There is a soulmate connection. There is work to be done there. That is a bond. That is the ring finger is of a long-term commitment and merging.
I want to thank Yelissa for a donation, and also Yelissa, Miranda, Kristen, Sylvia all said thank you. And Adriana says, wow, you have hit communication on the head. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You guys are welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do want to read off the members here, but I do want to say I will see you guys back here Monday. So we do 8 p.m. Eastern Mondays on TikTok, 8:30 here on YouTube. The next free mini class coming up is pain. We're going to be talking about everything from suicide to estrangement to physical pain, how to deal, how to cope, especially in this day and age with everything we have going on. And your weekly horoscopes, I am late, but they will be posted tomorrow afternoon. So check back for those. I do want to thank new members, okay, and old members. Bernadette Ruoff, Jill Marie, Chicken Mama, Carrie Watson, Vanessa Dempsey, Gloria Augusto, Angelica Pilar, Candace Kempton, Lori Filon, Jamie Joe, the Pisces Goddess, Cheryl Gottman, Mary Hodgson, Heather, Amy Nicole, Amanda Hebert, Katie Vegabellio, Donna Higer, Butterfly Rasta Girl, Julie Campbell, Dakota Miller. If you guys want to join the membership, you can hit that button. Thank you, Polly.
Very welcome.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Spirit. See you next week. See, we got some new ones. This is nice.